Hey guys, thanks for joining the Hairbow Master today. We're going to be making this really cool metallic spandex fabric flower, and each square that you have is going to be 3 inches by 3 inches, and you're going to need 16 pieces, well, anywhere from 12 to 16. So you can cut 3 or 4 of each of the colors, which I have 4 different colors here. And having more just makes it a little bit fuller, so it just depends on how you want it to look. So if you've cut out your template that you get from the hairbowmaster.org, it should have 8 petals on it. And what we're going to do to make this super easy is we're going to fold it in half, fold it in half again, and then fold it in half again, so that we just have this little triangle with a little rounded top. And you're going to see why this makes this a lot easier here in a sec. So make sure you have your thread and put a knot at the end just to make sure the pieces don't slide off. But take one of your pieces and we're going to fold it in half, then fold that in half, and then we're going to take one part of it and fold it back. So grab that part, pull it back, and then turn it over and do the same to the other side, so that the flaps are folded opposite of each other. And then on the part that has only one fold on it of your template, set it on the part of your flower or your fabric piece that has the 2 folds, and then just cut right around the top of this pattern. And that'll make it to where instead of having to draw each one out, then it just comes out like it's supposed to, without having to draw the whole thing out and then cut each little piece out. So then fold it again like you had it. So fold it in half, and then each flap back, and then take your needle and we're going to thread this. Now spandex with the metallic on it is really hard to get through, so we're going to be using our pliers here in a sec, and I'll show you exactly what I mean. So take your needle and you're going to want to go kind of near the end, but just up enough to get through all of those layers. And you may have to set your needle onto your mat, being very careful not to poke yourself, and then push down on the top, so that way it'll go through all those layers. And then take your pliers and you can just grab the needle and pull it on through, and it's a lot easier that way. So just set that one on the string and pull it to the other end, just not all the way. You want to leave a little bit so you can tie it later. And then we're going to do the same thing to all of our other pieces, and I'll go through one more with you. We're going to alternate each of the colors here. So what you do is take your square, fold it in half again, take one side and fold it back, and then take the other side and fold that back so that they're opposite. Then on the part that has 2 folds on your fabric, you want to line that up with your template that has the 1 fold, and then cut right across the top to where it's rounded to make your flower shape. And instead of unfolding it here, you can just keep it folded. Make sure that you line these up the right way, like they all have to be lined up the same way. So always hold it the same way and push your needle through the same way. As you can see, I have my 2 flaps on the top, and I'm going through on the right side, and then I push it all the way through, and then I take my pliers and pull that the rest of the way through and string that on as well. So we're going to do the same to all of our pieces, all 16 of them. Okay, I'm just getting the last piece done now, and we're going to go on to the next step, which is tying this together. Now you want to make sure that they're all kind of lined up the same way. And when you cinch this together, you're going to want to make sure that all of the petal points are all on the same side. So just kind of line them up, and then go ahead and tie it and cinch it right there in the center. and give it a really good couple of knots there. And you want to cinch the center fairly tight. And as you're cinching it, just make sure all your points are all pointed the same way. I just push mine up and then kind of hold it, and then you can tie it really tight from there. Square knots work the best because then they don't come apart. And if you don't know how to do a square knot, you can look that up. I'm sure there's another YouTube video on how to do a square knot. It's pretty easy. You just knot it backwards from the way that you usually knot it. You could put about, I usually put about 3 knots in it just to make sure that they're going to hold really well, because you don't want that coming apart. And I use embroidery thread because it's stronger and it barely breaks like ever. So now that we've got it all tied together, you're going to want to go and open up each of the petals. So just go through every single petal and just kind of open them up. And that way it gives it a nice little frilly, really frilly look. Now we're going to put our piece of felt on the back, the felt circle, so that it'll hold all the petals stable and give us a base to put our clip onto. And you'll just want it to be about 1 inch to 1.5 inches wide circle, and just cut around until you have at least a pretty good perfect circle. I mean, it doesn't have to be totally perfect. And sometimes you can buy these already cut. You can look on Amazon or something, or eBay. Then just put glue all around your felt piece, and then stick it right to the center of the back. And just make sure that's on really good there. Okay, now we're going to put our clip on. So you're going to take your rectangle piece of felt and you're going to put it right in the center of your clip. And then you're going to put glue across the whole thing. You can even put a dot of glue in the center of the inside of the clip just to make sure that stays. I don't always do that, but it'll help make it stay better. So you just stick that to the back, to the other piece of felt, and then you've got your clip. So the last thing we are going to do is we're going to put our centerpiece in. So just put a drop of the hot glue right in the center there, and take your little half pearl or whatever you wanted to use for the center, and just stick that right to that hot glue there. And you can pull off any pieces of strings of hot glue if you get some on there. And then just kind of fluff it back out a little. And that's it. That's all there is to this simple little flower bow. Thanks for joining the Hair Bow Master. See you in the next video.